Everyone, good evening for the 3 ways live once a week, as we all know. Today, big topic, we are gonna talk about the importance of the quality within relationship matters, because the quality of our relationships determines also the quality of our lives. It's very important to focus on this matter because it is about well-being. Ciao Sandy!
Hello, how are you? You said you weren't going to wear makeup this week. You forgot.
Oh, vero, no. Today I'm going to avoid. My energy today is a bit low, so a bit of color was necessary.
Mine's just sweat and coconut oil, nothing else.
Ciao, Glenino.
Good morning, afternoon, evening, depending
where
in the world you are.
Hello, Francesca. I was on your page waiting for the live to start, and I noticed you're following exactly 3,333 people. 3333.
Oh,
did you do that on purpose?
Of course not, Sandy. I didn't even notice.
Yeah, so now you got to just leave it, right? You can't follow anybody else. Like, it's so perfect because when you have multiple threes, it means the masters are speaking through you. That's
wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Amazing.
Yeah, multiple threes. The masters are speaking through you. Leave it right there.
And today it's the 11th, which is my favorite number. So amazing, guys. So we have a friend that wants to join. Let's see if we can talk to him about relationship matters.
Okay. Fire it up. Who do we got here today?
A quarter face.
Who do we got?
I think his hand's in front of the...
Oh, no.
Nothing.
Was that Brad? Did it say Brad Lawrence?
I suppose it's the connection. Yeah. We have problems.
All right. If he comes back on, bring him on. All right.
Yeah.
So, what is happening today? What's going on? What's our main life-changing topic?
Life-changing topic. If you want to, we can start talking about this importance of choosing quality within relationships, guys, because they truly define the quality of our life.
It's really important that the people, I was talking to someone about this last week, keep your friendship circle huge, but your inner circle small. Because you can't just share your internal world with people that aren't on the same vibration with you. If you have big dreams and big goals and you want to accomplish more, people in your big circle are not going to get it like your inner circle. Now you have to take advice. Successful advice comes from successful people.
Also, I believe when we encounter negative relationships, I've noticed, guys, it's very also challenging, and so we always learn. So it depends on our reaction to the situation and the relationship, because at the end we cannot encounter only like perfect relationships. So even the negative ones can also give us consciousness.
That's necessary for evolution and necessary for joy. If somebody's happy all the time, then they're not happy because there's nothing to compare it to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So when you refer to relationships, you're not just talking about a love relationship or a partner relationship. You're talking about anybody with whom we relate. Is that right?
Yeah. Any relationship, of course, in work, in business, any kind of business, in the spiritual world, in the community, in any field.
So I'll give you an example of how this is so important across the board. Yesterday, I had somebody in here who wanted to quit vaping. And I don't know about you, Glenn, but I find it takes sometimes a week or two longer to quit vaping than it does to quit smoking. Is that the same, or are you better at that than I am?
I just think it's really individual. I haven't noticed any difference between smoking and vaping. Mm-hmm. It just depends on the person and the quality of their commitment to want to quit.
So when somebody comes in to quit vaping, do you basically give them a guarantee like, hey, we can do this in one session?
Guys, I have a deja vu. We talked about this exactly the same moment, the three of us here, like this. Yeah, at the beginning.
I don't pay attention. attention. I don't pay attention. I have no idea what we've ever talked
No,
about.
but it's such an important point. We of course.
Yeah,
we remember.
I don't guarantee it on a first session because with vapors, for some reason, it just takes me a little bit longer.
Yeah. When I do smoking and vaping, what I do is I do one session and I include a free follow-up just in case it's needed. And that's how I approach all my smokers and vapors that way.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Yeah. So, so now people have an idea. Now, so here we're talking about relationships. So I had a young woman who wanted to quit vaping, and then we just started talking about, well, what causes you to do it? She said, well, after I worked with you the first session, I cut down a whole lot, but especially in the beginning of the week. But then toward the end of the week, after it had worn off a little bit, I started vaping again. She said, but it was I had to move out of my apartment because of this thing that happened in the building. So I had to rush out of there. And then the stressful thing at work and the stressful thing with my boyfriend. And that led, so I said, okay, so it's clear that you're saying stress is leading you to vape. Yes. Okay. So then if you didn't have stress, you wouldn't vape, or it'd be easier to quit. Yes. Okay. So then stress is the problem, not vaping. So once we relieve the stress, then that should be a much easier thing to take on. Yes, of course. I said, all right, so now let's look at the stress at work. What's going on? Well, I've got a pile of work and this is due tomorrow. And then just before I'm finished with everything, they pile on this whole other thing and say, it's due tomorrow, right? So our entire conversation ended up being about her relationship with the people at work, because she doesn't realize how much she's in charge of herself and how much she doesn't owe herself to anyone. So we did some role playing in communication in relationships, and instantly that was the end of it. She is now done vaping because she didn't know that it was possible to be empowered even when you have a boss.
Amazing.
Yeah.
But I would say, in any case, tobacco is born as a ritual, as people were smoking, to be in a circle, to feel also the power of the tobacco, because back then, in the ancient times, it was a very spiritual thing to do. And so I believe we also use it to have this moment within ourselves, and because we get bored, we want to smoke. But it's a moment that we want to spend also with ourselves. Because, for example, I smoke, not too much, but I don't smoke because I'm stressed. I truly like the moment.
And that makes a big difference also in how it affects you health-wise. I'll give you an example, and then I know you guys want to move back to relationships, but this is a really brilliant conversation. So often with smokers, Glenn's like, what?
No, you don't. Let me give you the same example. What you just said, let's take this to Las Vegas, okay? When somebody says, I went to Las Vegas, but I lost money. I lost $200, but I had a good time and it was fun. I took money I could afford to lose. I say, one, you lost $200. You didn't have a good time and you're an idiot for doing it. That's it. Now, not you, Francesca.
Very idiot. It's true. It's true.
Not you. You're not that.
I'm an idiot, I admit it. I smoke sometimes.
But that is the mantra of people that go to Las Vegas. You are spending money you can afford to lose. Bullshit. And you didn't have fun. You're justifying the stupidity of giving your money to casinos that are here to rob you. Now, for smoking, we all justify it, right? All smokers justify that moment. And Francesca, what the moment that you have with yourself is what you enjoy. It's not the cigarette. But
I also know I'm very bad. I truly love everything.
Yeah.
The smell, to feel.
You ever see that glass?
I think that a lot of people think and believe and feel like Len, and I also think that people think and believe and feel like Francesca. I think it's two different opinions. They're both. I think they're both really valid. But what I will say, and it's, believe it or not, because I really, life-wise, living-wise, I'm on your side, Francesca. However, I'm going to sound like I'm agreeing with Glenn here. Okay, so it's a little bit of both. But when it's like I'm going both ways on this one. People will always, most of the time, come in and they want to quit smoking, and I say, okay, so what does the smoking do for you? And then it turns out, well, it's relaxing because it's a moment with myself, like you said, Francesca. It's a moment to just take a nice big exhale, to take a break from work, to take a break from my husband who's annoying, whatever the story. It's relaxing, and I say, okay. Now I'm going to show you the power of your mind before you've even quit. We all know that nicotine is a stimulant. Republicans agree. Nicotine is a stimulant. It's a chemical stimulant, okay? So you're putting a stimulant in your body, yet it's relaxing you. Now, you are telling the truth because that is the power of your mind, because hypnotically, that moment is associated with relaxation. Therefore, that emotion, the good emotion associated with the doing a bad thing, I think smoking's bad, okay? But the good emotion associated with doing the bad thing is working for you. Wait, it's working for you because the emotion of the freedom, the emotion of the time with self, the emotion of the aligning is releasing relaxation chemicals, which then sort of balances the stimulant. And because you actually feel relaxed, it's like double issuing relaxation. So your body, the power of your mind is releasing chemicals that are overriding a chemical stimulant. If the power of your mind is so strong that you can relax in the face of a stimulant, imagine what the power of your mind can do when you're also choosing healthy habits.
Very true.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it's not just a stimulant, it also can give you lung cancer. So let's not smoke, but let's find that pleasure even more so in other areas, like, let's open it back up, relationships.
But Francesca, it ages your skin and your hair. You know all these things. You don't want to do that to yourself. That smoke
sometimes I smell of onion, sometimes I smell of cigarette, depends.
Glenn, she's European.
Every time I go to the bathroom, I'm European.
Yeah. But also, I believe it's also beautiful, of course, to have this awareness of having this addiction and then quitting for love. For example, if I will be a mother, I suppose I will have to stop. And there is this force called love that always makes things simple, of course, because even though we have self-love, sometimes we need this force coming from other reasons.
You missed my joke, Francesca. You didn't hear it.
When you go to the bathroom, you're
European.
European.
All right.
Nice one.
I forget that.
No.
Yes. So jump back to your relationship thought.
So
what was it?
How do we develop relational intelligence? We can share this if you want, guys.
Can you throw in an example of where someone might skew from their own intelligence and how we can pull them back?
Sure. So I believe relational intelligence is not about avoiding connection or being on surface or jumping from one connection to the other one. It's exactly the opposite. So it's very important not to be, of course, bored seeing the same people all the time, but to have consistency when we choose relationships. And that doesn't mean that they have to be perfect, as we said, or right or wrong. We have to find a connection. Even if it's toxic, for example, in my opinion, in general life, we can learn from it and we can have sensations if we learn how to react. So every relationship that has consistency, I believe, is important to develop relational intelligence.
There was one question I heard in there, and it was about how we react. So what are you referring to?
How we react, because as we know, we work on our energetical level to transform ourselves. So when we react in certain ways that are not part of us, we recognize there is a pattern to be, of course, to be seen.
If you are in a relationship and you are reacting, you're not being a good partner, because it means you have an expectation of them to hold a space for you that's not their job.
Yeah.
We all do that, though.
Yeah, we all do that, but it's true that, yeah.
We all do that at some level. And the growth is to move from reacting to responding. But that's a lifelong journey.
That's like,
okay, why don't you guys give me relationship advice? I have a question. I have a genuine question.
Yeah.
I have a genuine question. I have a strong belief that the bed, the physical bed, is meant for two things: sleeping and sex. I'll make an exception for like reading a book before you go to sleep. But basically the bed is for sleeping and sex, not computers, not where you throw your umbrella, right? Not for crumbs. Right?
It depends.
So that's a real issue for me, that I really prefer to hold the bed as a sacred space, and I feel like I'm losing. What do you guys suggest?
I like watching TV in bed. I like at night Netflix on and propping the pillows up. I get to stay there all day.
See, but you have
Do you
a big house in California. That makes no sense. You have a room for watching TV, right?
Yeah, but
we're in New York City, and I still don't even have a TV in my room.
Let me ask you, there's two parts to this question. Before I answer that, do you sleep on the same side of the bed every night, or do you switch?
Always.
Always the same.
In fact, Jen's in California right now, and I'm still just sleeping on my sliver with my cat. Like,
you never switch sides of the bed.
No,
Never.
Is that the problem?
Yes.
Why?
Problem.
Why, Glenino?
Because imagine if you could never change your perspective about anything in your life. Imagine if you could never look at something a different way. Imagine that. So we get so locked into, I have to be this and they have to be that, down to the point where you must even sleep on the same side of the bed the same way every night. Do you ever change your fork when you eat? Left-handed versus right-handed? Do you ever switch it? Just for fun?
I know what you're saying. I will offer to clients to brush their teeth with the other hand to disrupt a pattern.
Yes.
Maybe it is a good idea. And actually, with bedwetting, the number one thing I give to kids, it's usually kids, it can be adults too. The number one thing I give to people for bedwetting is to sleep with your head at the other side, like at the other end of the bed. So your feet are where your head were. The pillow's at the foot part of the bed.
Yeah, these I do, for example. I change, I sleep where my feet usually are, and then...
Yeah. Because that disrupts a pattern, and it's what it'll do is it'll help you catch it when you have to go to the bathroom, because your brain's working differently. We had what did Jackie say? Jackie said, back at college I always did my homework in bed. Probably a bad idea, because people tell me working at bed can make it hard to fall asleep at night. I agree. I would not do your homework in bed. I would also say, if you can't fall asleep, get out of bed. So bed's only associated with sleep and sex. It's just like strong and hard.
I get the pattern, the idea that bed is just for sleeping. So everything else is done. By the time you get in your bed, that tells your subconscious mind it's time for sleep, versus it's time to read, or it's time to be on my phone, or it's time to be on TV. I get that point. Like, the bed should just be for sleep and nothing else at that time. I get that.
But back to switching sides, if that's going to improve a relationship, I'm a righty and she's a lefty, and
it doesn't work.
It's great. You need to.
Sandy, you're too severe. What's happening, man?
It's so good. Try it. When she comes back.
How is it good? How is it good? How is it good? What is it for the relationship, or just
here's
for,
the
like, if you're even...
experiment. When she comes back, you're going to do it for one night, and then you're going to share about us on our next Instagram Live.
All right.
All right.
It's going to change the energy.
Left and right, or can we switch this way too?
It's going to change the energy of how you guys sleep.
I'm going to do it.
It'll feel like you're with it'll feel like you're with a new partner.
Wow. This power.
It will, because you'll be like, who's this guy?
So you don't get bored ever.
Because then it's like brushing your teeth with the other hand. So it may feel very much
it's
like...
I'm telling you, you'll be like, wow, I feel like this is kind of new. It's good.
I'm really going to try. I'm willing to try anything. I'm willing to try anything except homework in bed.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear. But you are ultimately, I think you're right about just making it for that. Even things like, I mean, my kitchen, I have an office downstairs that I don't use anymore because it's dark. I work in my living room and I work in my kitchen. I do sessions in my kitchen. So my kitchen table is almost like my desk. And I don't agree that's the best thing either. It's like the kitchen table should be for eating and spending time there. Your desk should be for work.
But why, Lenino? I think it's nice to change places and spots.
It is, but from that same standpoint, if you think what the kitchen table was supposed to be, the kitchen table was supposed to be for family dinners, for people to connect. And it should be a space of connection and that, not for your bills and your computer and your work, even though, yes, it's practical. But, you know, in the bigger picture, kind of what Candy
it's interesting because I'm agreeing with you, but hearing it almost sounds like grown-up rules, like almost like church rules. So it's such a fine line, because if we want to take what we do in bed and do it on the kitchen table, I'm 2 thumbs up on that one, right? So it's again, like, how are we associating the thing we're doing? I don't want to write checks in bed or on the table.
But also, why do we end up always either during a party or during a dinner in the kitchen? So the kitchen attracts all the energies in the house. It's incredible. It's a mystery, but so we always end up in the kitchen somehow.
Yeah. Again, it's energy. So it's not a hard and fast rule. You can do this, you can't do that. But it's just about holding an energetic space of things that feel good.
Yeah.
It just, I think those things bring some sense and order, even though I don't do that. Usually we eat at my island in the kitchen. We stand and eat. We very rarely even sit down to eat, but it's nicer to do that. It's almost like the one thing, well, California is changing because we are having seasons now, but growing up back east, you know, there was spring, summer, winter, or fall, winter, 4 seasons. Here, we never used to have seasons. So the year didn't quite make sense in the same way. There wasn't a natural flow to a year like there is back east.
Yeah.
And I also used to appreciate it because it used to be nicer all the time. But now we are getting kind of 4 seasons because the weather has changed out here. It's raining a lot more. It gets colder. What's that? California
is crazy now. I keep hearing about it. Yeah.
It's quite scary, by the way. Yeah.
It's shifting. But there is a sense when we do things and hold that space in the bedroom, in the kitchen, when different things for different activities, it does bring a sense of, I think, a balance in some way. It's like there's a time for this, there's a time for that, and there's a time for this.
See, now it sounds like the Bible, right?
No, it doesn't. No. Sandy, who did what to you? Who hurt you so bad when you were young?
I was singing because you said there's a time for a time for love.
No, about the church thing. What pastor traumatized you so bad that everything sounds like church talk?
Guys, we can share a trauma from our childhood.
I don't like rules. What?
We can share a trauma from our childhood that we never shared. That is quite secret.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll share anything you want. That's not a problem. But when it comes back around to relationships, I still stand with, if you're reacting to someone, you've got to look inward. Remember, we had a conversation recently about an immature person is going to be reactive. Somebody who's evolving, maturing, is just going to respond. And then someone who's really up there at that higher level, it's just act. So we go from react to act. You just choose to be and hold space of compassion, right? And
yeah, I said it. But also, I believe a reaction, it's part of having also your personality and that you are shaping along your journey. So I don't really criticize reactions because, of course, it's better to respond, as you always say, guys, as we always say. But truly, I don't find anything negative into the reaction because there is truth in the reaction.
So can we have passion in a relationship without being reactive?
Yes. Which kind of...
Oh, I lost you.
I
lost you. Wait, come back. You were like, which kind of...
No. It's difficult to say because passion, of course, makes you reactive. But also, of course, we have to find the balance within this reaction, of course.
When I was younger in relationships, and I was a fighter, I was passionate in all areas, in fighting and in loving. I was explosive in many ways. I had a lot of anger. And now in my older years, I have found that not only has the communication changed, but it also changes the sex life, because passion really does run through all of it. If you're passionate, you're passionate. How you do something is how you do everything. So I have found, and I'm curious what you guys think about this, when you become refined in knowing who you are, so you're not leaning on somebody else to get that taken care of for you, I find that even sex changes. It's not less passionate, but it becomes more what I would just call tantric. Relating intimately with people becomes more tantric. It becomes more tasting the flavor of one tiny morsel, of breathing in one moment, of connecting in those kinds of ways. And then there's so much more passion to be had in the subtleties, but it doesn't come from wild, crazy, big doggy paws flopping. You know, it's it's very refined, and that's my sense on communication and intimacy.
Big doggy paw flopping.
That's what boy sex was like for me. It was like, well, you know, it was like
big doggy paws flopping.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like all of the doing all of the things. Like
Is that what happened to you, Sandy? It was big doggy paws. It was big doggy paws flopping, and you're like, I don't want that in my life anymore. Is that what happened to you?
I didn't like the doggy kind. I like the kitty cat kind.
That's funny. That's amazing. See,
oh my God, can we rewind?
No.
Listen, remember at the beginning of this, I said that, Francesca, you were following 3,333 people.
Yeah.
Literally 333 people are watching. This is crazy. The masters are speaking through us.
It was. But that's, all right. So this is good stuff. So we're learning more about Sandy every month.
Sandy today.
But it is, I find that it's evolution, both in communication and intimacy. Intimacy in all ways of being. When we really know who we are, and we don't need to grab it from someone else. We don't need to throw it at them and make sure it sticks. When we're here and they're there, and there's a whole bunch of connecting to be had, it has to be tantric, both communication and intimacy. It's got to be refined. It's Francesca, you're a food professional. How do you describe enjoying food?
Well, it's all about senses for me, as taste can also change. So it's not about, having the same taste. It's about developing your senses. And so different perceptions, different approach also to food along your journey. So food truly, it's a world that has no ending and is so creative that has no ending again. So it's a never-ending exploration, which gives so much food for thought also, because it brings people together.
If you were my client, Francesca, I would give you what I think is a really powerful exercise. I would have you write down or record yourself talking about food. What you just did was so evolved. And then write down or record yourself talking about relationships, because you are two different people. You are two different people. When you talk about your relationship with food, it's up there with the best of the best. And the passion you have for food is very different than when I hear you talk about passion in relationships. Passion in relationships, when I hear you talk, the passion, it's like, if I were your boyfriend, I'd run, because I'd get smacked in the face so fast.
But of course, Sandy, because, there are two different topics, so it's a different passion.
But they shouldn't be. That's my point. I want you to see the contrast. And then how can you, in your relationships, start to refine relationships to where it starts to be more like your relationship with food? What do you think, Glenn?
Well,
it's actually,
here's the thing. Food is something that you can control for the most part. You know how it's going to turn out when you start. So it's much safer to have an exact way to describe that experience. Relationships, we don't have that same control over. We don't know how it's going to turn out when we do it. So when we describe relationships and we talk about that passion, it's going to feel different because it is a different energy. It's a different thing. That's how I take it.
I
That was
want
pretty deep.
the control to be about you
Hey,
in both
time out.
food.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Amazing.
Come on now.
That's what I mean.
That was pretty good.
That's
So
what I
I,
mean.
gotta
But
take a moment of
also-
pause.
my vote is for you to evolve from that. Because when you say you can control food, but you can't control people, the only control going on there is you. You
Right.
and you. So it shouldn't be different.
And an
Well-
experience is different. A known experience versus an unknown experience is always different.
Make the
That's
known be yourself in all times. Make the known be yourself in all
the
of it.
subconscious mind doesn't always allow that. When it doesn't, the unknowns change, you know this. We're programmed to not like unknowns. We are.
That's why also we learn about relationships, even with the relationship with food, because we have time to express and get creative, while within relationships, of course, there is more of a different creative energy. So we give space, we allow ourselves to get into the relationship with the food, and then we can also learn and develop, of course, values that are reflected in the society relationships.
Yeah. Here's what I think the goal should be for a relationship. It should be contentment. Not crazy passion, not crazy roller coasters, not this. Contentment is a healthy, beautiful space for a relationship to exist in.
You
That's
just talked yourself into agreeing with me.
No,
Because
I didn't say doggy paws.
meant
I
the
didn't say
tantric
doggy
that I'm
paws.
talking about. What?
I didn't say doggy paws. I just said contentment. Open your senses to boba. You know what? Here's the deal. With Olivia, my 16-year-old, we were at the mall 2 days ago, and she wanted boba. So she got a Thai iced tea boba with those little things in them. And I took a sip, and I took one of the bobas, and I tried it again to see if I would like it, and I still hated it, Jackie. It's disgusting. It's like balls of snot. They're little balls of snot that explode in your mouth and they're slimy. That's
You know what I
they
want
are.
to do? You know what I want to do with both of you is, have you ever seen online, it was like years ago, it was a trend like a decade ago, 2 girls, 1 cup?
No.
Glenn, you know what I'm talking about? So if you
I don't-
go online, if you go on YouTube and you look up 2 girls, 1 cup, what you're going to find is thousands of reaction videos. You don't even get the video. You're just seeing people who are watching the video, and they're watching, and it's like, ooh, hot lesbians. All right. All right. And then all of a sudden they're like, and then people start like getting sick watching it.
Uh-huh.
Why do they get sick, Sandy?
Because of what's in the cup and what they do with it. So it's hilarious. You should definitely spend an afternoon watching reaction videos to 2 girls, 1 cup. But I would love to film just a mini version of our podcast, watching you guys reaction to that, because Glenn's gonna start puking and Francesca's gonna like be turned on. I know it.
I want to try now, Sandy. I want to.
But
Look it up. 2 girls, 1 cup. Do you want to do it? Do you want to
Yeah.
do it together? We'll
Let's do
record
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So don't watch it without me. I can only take so much, and then I have to shut it. We played it for my parents. It was hilarious.
Let's do it together, guys.
all right.
All right. So we're gonna make a plan.
Do you guys
we'll do a reaction.
You know about this restaurant called Opaque, Dining in the Dark?
Oh,
Do you
I
have
think
that
you
here?
have it to us.
Did we?
Yeah, there are many places where you can eat in the dark, but to be honest, I prefer other sensorial experiences because I tried it, and you cannot really see anything. Of course, if you are with beautiful energies around you, you enjoy it, but most of the time you end up with strangers, and it's truly, there is no quality of anything, in my opinion.
You didn't like it?
It depends on the people, in my opinion, this experience.
Have you tried it, Sandy?
No.
Oh.
No, but I would. You like
It's beautiful, but
like is there would you recommend going to a eating in the dark restaurant?
I did it once. I want to do it again. It was cool. It was.
yeah, it's cool, the idea.
It's cool.
Better blindfolded, though. It's fun, yeah.
Like, does it stay above board or does it start to get a little
No,
intimate?
it's normal, Sandy. It's not a Sandy thing.
I
It's a
don't know
normal thing.
anymore.
No, you just go. It's so dark that your eyes never adjust.
Yeah.
Because there's not 1 ounce of light coming in.
Mm-hmm.
So when you think, like when you go to bed and it feels dark at first, then it doesn't feel so dark.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like that. It's like it's so
Super
dark,
dark.
your eyes are never focusing.
How do they serve the food? How do they get it to you? Like how?
They bring it. You pre-order. They bring it to you pre-cut.
That's why the quality of food is never amazing, unfortunately.
That
You open your eyes.
That might be true. I don't remember if it was good or bad. I just remember it was just kind of a neat thing, and you hear people talking, but you don't know what they look like. You don't know who they are.
That sounds like an interesting experience. What I have done is I've been in a cave where it's pitch black and your eyes are wide open and you see literally nothing.
Okay.
There's no like time on the microwave, you know what I mean? It's literally nothing. And that was really freaky. Like I was scared. I didn't like it. Yeah. I had to like turn on my phone to see something, you know? I didn't like that experience.
But I think it depends on the people, infatti.
Yeah.
On the people you encounter. It's a beautiful experience though.
I would go with you guys because Glenn, I know you'd save
me too.
Exactly. It's fun. I ate in a cave in Cancun.
We can guide it actually. We can do the hypnotic dinners I do, guys. Of course, with the 2 masters here, we can do it together once. It's gonna be so much fun.
I could hypnotize you guys, like full on deep hypnotize you guys, and then eat.
Oh, I'm ready. No, and also, yeah, we should do it actually on hypnotic dinner.
Yeah.
Too.
That sounds amazing. I actually created a hypnosis and yoga program at Golden Bridge in LA years ago. People would come into the class, I'd hypnotize the group, and then we'd get into yoga. And it's so amazing and delicious. It's really
delicious.
Yeah.
All right.
We should hypnotize Congress before any meeting ever, really. We should just hypnotize everyone all the time before they do anything.
We hypnotize ourselves every day, quindi.
Of course.
Sì.
We hypnotize Glenn to be in love with
boba.
boba. It's not snot.
Unfortunately, that suggestion won't stick.
Remember, Glenn, earlier in our very profound conversation, you said, what do you call it when Francesca goes to the bathroom, European?
Yeah.
So, and Jackie just said here, it's not snot. I used to have this joke, it's snot. No, it's not.
What is not?
Like it's not, like when you're saying it's not, but you're saying it's snot.
Yes.
I don't get it, you know. I'm a bit tired.
Yeah, once again, I just wish we could rewind this conversation and start over. Should I edit this stuff out or leave it in?
When I do the edits, I love watching our videos again.
Yes.
So funny.
No, it's very good. It's very good. So then you're going to do dining in the dark with Jen. You're going to change sides of the bed. Mm-hmm. And you're going to see what that does. And we're going to talk about that. That'll be really cool. And then we'll see Francesca's relationship between food and relationships, how she describes them.
No, it's incredible, the guidance, how it works well, talking about relationship matters through food therapy. It's incredible.
I really wish you would do that exercise, Francesca. Write down or record yourself.
I will record it.
Your relationship with food and then with men, but I want you to like pick even specific people so you can get really specific, and you're going to see that it's 2 different people. And my vote for you is eventually the relationship stuff. How you are in that starts to match how you are with food, and you can start doing it the next time you're relating to a man in that way, and you find yourself passionate, like you say. Just say, if he were ceviche, how would I be relating to him right now? How would that change?
If you were boba.
But I believe, guys, we also have to, to save our personality. Of course, it changes, it transforms, etc. But I don't think we should treat our lover as we treat our parmigiana.
I think you should, and I think you are seriously taking on shadow. I think you're taking on shadow
passion, Sandy.
When you talk about your passion in that way, I believe that you're taking on shadow aspects of your personality and identifying them as how you really are. And and when you're relating with food specifically, you are all light. And I want you to find all or mostly light when you're with men, and you're going to find that this way you've been identifying with fire is off center. I think it's not there. There is passion to be had, but not that. I think there's better passion to be had when you go deeper into the light.
Yeah.
Or it's just an Italian thing.
But what about if the aggression is an illusion and we don't know it doesn't exist?
Wait, ask the question again. So I know
I'm talking, of course, because sometimes we have different kind of aggressions: passive aggression, active aggression, written aggression, vocal aggression. So it depends. So I would say that we cannot truly define something aggressive if we don't have all the true values and face it.
That's a question for Glenn. Is aggression an illusion?
Well, you're talking to a guy that hates heightened. I do not like heightened emotions around me at all, unless we're having fun and laughing. So anger, discontentment, any kind of negative passion, I don't like it. I don't want anything negative around me. I don't like raising voices.
Really, me, I can deal with it.
Yeah, I don't like anything that has to do with aggression.
Yeah, and that's interesting because we're seeing it exactly the same and exactly different. Because if somebody shows anger, aggression, passion, like that, the real Francesca fire around me, I am so comfortable in that space. I have no problem with it whatsoever. And I still believe that you're identifying with your shadow side. That's where it's an illusion. It's not, because I believe that who you are is
of course
only compassion.
Helps me to see my reaction deeply, and of course we are robots. It's a never-ending journey of healing and growing and evolving. But I truly believe I will never change my personality, even though it can look a bit too much for many, because it's my personality. Also, I'm like this since I'm born, so saying the truth as it comes, as I think it, I say it. Or of course, there are many things that I wouldn't be able to change. For example,
I think
just to share my experience.
I think when you say this is my personality, you are misinterpreting who you really are.
Because I like it. Also, I like this side of impulsivity and.
It is your personality to be comfortable with the fiery anger, passion, and it is Glenn's personality to be uncomfortable. Those are personality traits. But to say the fire, the anger is my personality, I believe that's where the illusion comes in. It's off center from your personality.
But
our personality is shaped then by other experiences, and then we transform. But we shouldn't feel that we have to change our personality.
You know when somebody has cancer and they say, I have cancer, and then other people will train them to say, or no, wait, no, it's not, wait, I said it the wrong way. Okay, no, I'll say it differently. When somebody says, I am angry, it's different than saying I have anger, right? So that's where I wanted to go with it. I am angry is very different than saying I have anger, because I have anger, you're not defining yourself as angry. You're saying I'm a person who's compassionate, experiencing this thing right now. And you, Francesca, are not an angry, fiery, passionate in a bad way person. You are a compassionate person who has some fire going on. But when you can uncouple, decouple yourself from thinking your personality is an angry personality, when you get there, you will enjoy passion so much more, and it'll look more like contentment in Tantra.
I totally agree, Sandy, but we risk sometimes to become apathic or too, again, diplomatic. So if we try to balance out too much our passion or anger, then we miss the most important part, which is living the emotions. And of course, we cannot agree with everyone, and we cannot, of course, be accepted by everyone. So I believe to find the balance, but not to truly change the trait of your personality, because then we basically also lose our intensity. And
you revealed your false belief in here. You believe it's the angry passion or diplomatic. Diplomatic is also bad too. Don't be that.
Yeah,
I didn't get.
So it's not fight or fake it. Diplomatic is fake it. It's not fight or fake it. It's be all that you are, but you don't need them to give you permission for it. So therefore, you don't have to fight to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one is the best point of this. I totally agree.
You got that. You got that.
No, I like when she says living the emotion. That's very cool. But there's also people's definition of what that is. Just saying that you're fiery and passionate doesn't mean you're disrespectful to other people. There's a difference. Our definition of what that means, I don't think, is the same definition that Francesca uses. But you can be fiery, you can be passionate, and I'm okay with that too, as long as you're not disrespectful in your nature in that way. There's a difference. You know,
but what about
being passionate or being rude, being passionate or being abusive? That's two different things. And so I agree, to live your emotion and feel the emotion is very different. Those are two different things than being a disrespectful, mean-spirited, you know, abusive type of person.
It depends also on the situation we're finding ourselves. If we, of course, fight for the same conflict for many, many days and years, it becomes mental. Mentally, we become mentally disturbed. It's obvious. So it's very important in this case to truly find the pattern, the problem lying underneath, because it's not only about, everyone would get crazy after a while of repeating all the same things, of fighting over the same problem. So it's a matter also of the situation, not only the personality in this case, I believe. And also, do you think it's better to be communicatively aggressive a bit or passive aggressive, where you don't say anything at all?
Neither one. And when you say fighting over conflict for days makes you crazy in the head, you were crazy in the head before it started, because you would never fight nor have conflict for days if you were centered. You are saying, can I fully be myself all the way? And I'm saying, yes, you can, but it doesn't come through fight and it doesn't come through conflict. And you say, but I do want to be intense. Intense is fun.
Here we are talking not only about one person, about the relationship of a two, for example, or three people, a group of people. So it's not only about the personality problem of the one self, which is in this case me, for example, but it also includes the rest. So it's not only about the one person, it's about the energy that is created around you.
Yeah, these are really good questions, because Francesca, I think a lot of people, most people probably are coming from the same place you are. Well, when you're in a fight, and the fight lasts for days, and it's assuming should I be aggressive or passive aggressive? Neither. Oh, I lost you. Are you there? Oh, there you go. So should I be aggressive or passive aggressive? And the answer is neither. Instagram's messing us up.
I cannot see you guys.
I know.
Okay, now yeah.
Sorta.
I was going to say, if you can't.
By the way, this is an important discussion.
This is great. I think most people feel the way Francesca does, actually, and we are here to reveal.
Yeah, I feel that I don't accuse my personality that can be aggressive if there is this energy of aggression already within the situation. Of course, we have to be Buddha, and as a coach, you know exactly what is going on. But I also believe in let it be and let it fight if it has to be fought, because if there is the same problem, we don't have to let it go, because this is superficiality. We have to deal with it. And if there is no, of course, transparency and clarity, the conflict stays, and mentally we don't, of course, react always the same.
There are 0 people in my life with whom I fight. 0, 0, 0. It doesn't occur. It just doesn't occur. I don't agree with lots of people, but it's not aggressive nor passive aggressive. It's when something's presented and you're not on board with it, you don't need to beat the other person down. You also don't need to be, you know, a doormat. Just keep being who you are. Just keep being
but I think between, in my opinion, of course, between being aggressive with your words and being someone that doesn't know where to start and where to end the discussion, doesn't know, like, you know, for me, it's totally justified.
Yeah, no, I get it. And like I said, I think a lot of people agree with you. Jackie said, how do you deal with the loss? Jackie said, how do you deal with the loss of a pet? My cat was put down the other day. Oh, so sorry. That's the worst. And she said, sorry, it's off topic. I just want to throw in, there's an
That's
episode.
your specialty, Andy, right there.
there's an episode of my podcast, Rockstar Changemaking, about loss and grief.